So you would do anything for a 20?
Not everything. David's a little too much today.
David, you calm down.
I thought Ed was that way. Let's leave Ed on that subject.
Guys, welcome to Part 1 podcast. Today's guest is a very special guest. If you live in Lincoln, Nebraska, you know the man. He cuts your hair. He's the one. He's the only. AvaTheBarber. Ava, go ahead and introduce yourself for the few rare people that don't know you.
Yeah, I think everybody mostly knows me, or of me. Yeah, I'm AvaTheBarber. I work at the Barber Lounge. I've been a barber for 8 years now.
8 years, wow.
Yeah, lots of dedication.
So tell us about that. You said 8
years is dedication.
8
for
years
sure.
is a long time.
Let's
but you've already
8 years licensed.
Wow, so it's probably been like more than a decade cutting, probably.
Yeah.
Get him, guys. You heard him. He's been cutting unlicensed.
So how'd you start cutting hair? How do you even get into cutting hair? Like
how?
Yeah, do you just
what
your homeboy just like be like, bro, you need to get that cut off. Let me just snip it for you. Is that how you get into it or what?
The first time was 13. Picked up that straight razor. I snuck it away from my brother.
Straight razor?
Yeah.
Your first cut was
straight razor?
No, I like myself. I was messing with it. I stole that out of my brother's medicine cabinet, and I was like, locked the door in the bathroom and just started doing my little pencil mustache.
You had a mustache at 13?
It was pencil. Like
he's got them
basically my current mustache.
Middle Eastern genetics.
Got the Middle Eastern genetics.
You get it. You get back here at 8. Probably.
He said, how I look right now, 14. You know what I mean? Like
14, yeah. Could have bought beer at 15 and a half. Typical stuff. But yeah, I mean, I just started there. Then my brother found me. He thought that was going to beat me up. And he was like, you know how to use that? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you want to do my beard? And I'm like, sure. And then, yeah.
How old was your brother?
I think he was like a couple of years older than me. Like
he said he was
16?
Yeah.
Your 16-year-old brother came to you and asked if you want to fade up my beard?
Yeah, I mean, he was like,
beard?
Up, and I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't say, are you sure? I was pretty confident. And I was like, yeah, I do mine. I mean, it's pretty hard to get your mustache area as a barber, you know? It's a pretty sensitive area.
Right.
And he was like, you can do that. Do my beard. I was like, okay. And then
so then like that's cutting your brother's hair, but then how do you start?
How do you move from beards to hair? I mean, it's a different. I mean, you're using a straight blade. That was your first cut.
I mean, that was like was fast tracked to about 12th grade, and then I just bought a pair of clippers, and then my sister was like, "Can you cut up the kids?" And you know, we're all broke, so it's free, it's family, and then next one thing leads to another. I do a bunch of garage haircuts for my buddies, and
garage haircuts.
Yeah,
huh?
I mean,
recharging?
Nah, I don't think so. I think whoever wanted to be my victim, basically.
Say, come to my garage. Tonight's the night.
So were they great haircuts? No. Were they like skin fades right off the bat? No. They were just like, somebody was like, oh, I'll just clean my neck up and do a 2-guard on the side. Simple, you know? Great clip style.
Yeah.
Basic.
So, I mean.
And then, I didn't finally find the calling until I was 24. I'm 33 now. You know, it was.
So what happened between
so
that
what did
period?
you do from 18 to 24?
I was just
high school.
I was in manufacturing.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just bouncing around
here in Lincoln.
Yeah, everywhere.
Just
factory jobs.
Name one. I've been there.
Smithfield,
Kawasaki.
I've been there.
Smithfield,
4 days.
Smithfield,
4 days.
Hey, Kawasaki is a great. You know, they manufacture great stuff, but my God, is it hard to work there?
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard that they run their people
it's like working in China.
Yeah. That's kind of what I heard.
I mean, the land is owned by a foreign country.
Right.
That is crazy.
If LPD can't go on there without permission, it's not America.
I didn't know
LPD can't go in there without permission?
Like an embargoed land or whatever.
What?
That's wild.
I mean, they can come.
Well, it's it's a governmentally owned.
Yeah, it's like a weird little. Hey, we own this. I think Japan owns it. Somehow.
Yeah, I think
they lease it from America.
It's Japan or something.
That's so crazy.
It's a weird thing. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that.
I believe it. Yeah. We have people come into from Kawasaki to White Spider all the time, and they'll be like, "Man, they just work us like a dog there."
Yeah,
like legit, 12 hours. Here was the most inhumane thing I've ever heard in my life, honestly. As a grown man, I wouldn't be able to do it. And this is just what I heard. I don't know if it's actually true, but they said you have to ring a bell if you want to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Bro, what am I?
That makes sense. Like, look,
I never
If
found
you're
the
on a
belt.
manufacturing
You guys-
I couldn't
line,
find it.
I don't think you guys ever been in a factory.
That's
But that's how it is.
crazy.
You're on a line. You leave,
No,
you're endangering the people around you. So, I mean,
yeah.
you got to,
It's a
it makes
build-up.
sense.
No,
It makes
that's
sense.
because the
One
product
person
doesn't
stops,
get touched on you.
Everything gets back.
Man, am I that prideful to think I'm not going to ring a
You're
bell?
privileged.
I'm not going to ring a bell to use the bathroom. That's a human right.
Hey, some people just go right where they're at.
I
Yeah, but
would
like-
to prove. Let's start a
not just
riot.
You find a bucket.
There's so many moving parts.
God
it's
forbid
not
he'd
that
have to
simple.
work as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to call somebody over. Hey, can you watch my stuff? And
Yeah.
I got to go for a quick second. And that's how it works.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I'm ringing that bell and I'm quitting.
It's not like they're going to tell you no. It's just like, hey, I'm leaving. Somebody needs to step in and do what I'm doing in order for the whole thing to just keep going.
So,
Yeah.
so aspirationally, so
manufacturing wasn't for you.
did you? Well,
let's- your dreams died there,
One
real
guy
quick.
that made that really truly happen. It was my last job at. I don't know if I should say the name of the place, but
I don't care. You can say it.
don't
It's
care.
up to you.
it's the one that got smashed by the tornado. If you're a local Lincoln guy, you know that it's.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty famous. I mean, it's probably national news at this point, but yeah, I mean, one day my boss, he was like, "Hey, you're taking too many sick days, and you go to a job, you hate it.
Mhm.
What's gonna happen? Your whole little demeanor and everything is gonna get crushed." It's like,
Yeah.
dude, I do my job. You don't leave me alone. I'm one of those guys. You let me do my job. I'm in a routine. I'll give you 100%.
right.
But I was like, I am about perfect. Like, I'm a pawn for a factory at this point. I'm a soldier. You tell me what to do. I got it. Just leave me the F alone,
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, you're still not happy? I'm literally working 110%. And I just came to the conclusion, like, this guy is never going to be satisfied. Everybody else was, but this particular dude was like a micromanager. So
Was he your supervisor, your boss?
it was I was in a warehouse. I was a warehouse clerk. So I just did everything in there. There's 3 guys, but I did everything. And yeah, the story comes down to one day I was at the barbershop. I called in sick at 5 a.m. I called the front desk or the operator or whatever.
You're at the
He didn't-
barbershop at 5 a.m.?
No, I was like there at 10.
Okay.
I'm a barber. I'm not going to wake up that early.
For real.
barber.
Hey, for real.
mean,
Barbers
wouldn't
do
he-
have a late start.
Yeah.
Do you know any barbers that actually start early in the morning?
Well, who wants an early morning haircut?
How do an early morning haircut?
There's
You do
one
early?
shop in Lincoln
Yeah,
that I
first
know
thing.
of. They said they wake up at 5, but I still don't believe him.
Yeah, I don't.
He says
they
they
wanna wake
target
up
the
at 5.
business people in downtown.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. But I was just like, I don't believe you. That was my first interview there.
He said, "I ain't gonna wake up to check."
Yeah.
Well,
I was like,
Yeah,
great
definitely.
shop, but I was like, I am not waking up at 5 a.m. I
Right.
spent a year and 2 months at barber school to wake up at 5 a.m. I might as well go back to that factory. There's no place. And I was like, also that goes hand in hand with being Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Everybody goes shopping at nighttime in the Middle East. So
Okay, so
whatever.
before we get ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
let's put a pin in that. Where, like, just tell us where you're from, like, in terms of where you were born. Did you ever move around? Were you born in Lincoln, stayed in Lincoln your entire life? What, just
So I'm-
early upbringing?
Yeah, let's hear your
stuff.
backstory.
I came to the States when I was about 4 years old, so about 97.
From where?
From Iraq, technically, but I'm Kurdish, so I'm from the Kurdistan region, of
Okay.
northern Iraq. Yeah, different languages, different culture, same religions, But yeah, we came there, and my family came to America as refugee of war. My dad worked
Okay.
for a NGO, non-government organization. He was their translator. My dad was one of the English-speaking guys in town, so
Nice.
he was also
Nice.
an English teacher back home, and then my dad became a target, and we all had to pretty much move. And by the grace of God, somebody, I don't know what they are, an American agency or somebody gave us a little clear visa, and
Nice.
Your
Just
dad
flew
got
here?
targeted?
yeah, because technically that's Saddam's era in the '90s.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
So he was like a traitor to the state.
yeah, pretty much
Because
at
he
that
was
point.
translating for the American.
But it's like he was helping translating a non-government organization, so they weren't really technically tied to America.
Mhm.
But they were American.
they just spoke English.
yeah.
Yeah.
What were they doing? They were like a USAID company, like giving out food to
Mhm.
people in like a famished area. That's all it was. But it's Iraq. You're working with Americans, and that
You're
whole
clearly a
90s,
spy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad became a target, and boom, we moved to.
You went straight to Lincoln?
No, we went to Guam, the island of Guam in the South Pacific.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Super
Okay.
random.
It's an actual.
Why would you leave Guam? That sounds legit.
Exactly. This point comes across every time.
It's like, now I go to vacation in Guam.
I swear, I want to go to Guam so bad. But, dude, it's crazy. Like, I always tell this story, and everybody's like, whoa, wow. And I'm like, I'm just saying it like it's a normal day.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, I have to realize it from somebody else's perspective.
Right.
I'm like, holy crap, yeah, this is crazy. You know?
Yeah.
So you guys went to Guam, like you guys stay there for like, is it
Yeah.
pass through or like you guys actually live there?
Basically, with this whole thing, it's a declassified thing now. It used to be classified, but it's Operation Pacific Haven. So you get a group of people
Yeah.
from an area. They did it back in the 19.
Are you sure it's declassified?
Yeah, it's on military.org. Don't worry. It takes about.
So I don't
20
want to
years.
get you in trouble.
He might actually be a spy.
That was
Like,
dope. I wasn't expecting some classified document.
Did you know it was classified at the time that you guys moved to Guam? Like, did they tell you guys, like, hey, don't say nothing?
No.
Otherwise,
No. I mean, it wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that. What do you
They
Wow.
do call it a psyop, but
Dude.
a psyop has negative connotations.
Your Soviet
Yeah.
roots
A
are like, you're
cycle-
dead
You're not
if you
getting
try to.
executed.
They're not going to execute you.
You know, a psychological operation has negative connotations.
Yeah.
Okay.
To it, but
Right.
this was a positive aspect of that. It's trying to assimilate a group of large group of people that you bring from, you know, obviously where we were living, electricity was around, but you don't have the technology we have today, especially in the early 90s. It's like, how are people going to jump from that to America?
yeah.
And so they just stationed us there for a couple months, get us like situated,
Assimilated to
Yeah, assimilated.
American.
Interesting.
And then everybody just got scattered around. So our first place after that, we went to Salt Lake City, Utah, with my Mormon brothers.
Interesting.
Nice people, great people. And yeah,
Ain't no way. You're actually a Mormon?
No,
All right.
no.
God is good.
But
God is
hey,
good.
the nicest people you'll ever meet. It's just, damn, I don't know what it was. Everybody was so friendly in that neighborhood.
They
We had
were
a
white.
fraternity next door. We had a donut maker above us. We had a Mexican Spanish family below us. There was like a 3-stack.
Yeah.
It honestly sounds like
Yeah.
you guys just landed in the whitest city in America.
Yeah, right in the
So,
middle.
like, it's a pretty good
Pretty
place
much,
to land.
yeah.
Our neighbor across the street was Korean. The neighbor downstairs was a Mexican. And I was just like, well, just cool.
Good spot, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good place to get really situated.
How long did you live there?
I think less than a year. My dad got sick of the snow.
Yeah.
God,
So he moved
Nebraska's
You
not
moved to
Yeah.
Nebraska?
Where did we move next? Norfolk, Nebraska.
That's more north.
First time ever experienced like a windstorm or a tornado. The tree crashed right in between our like a house here and the other house next to us.
It's just right between.
Yeah, it was like the big old like 3-foot diameter.
What'd your dad say?
He was like, we got to move.
To Lincoln.
Yeah, then we found like 2 of our uncles living down here in Lincoln. And then, yeah, we just kind of, Lincoln's home base now. We moved to San Diego for a little bit. We had some family relatives there. And then we lived in Phoenix randomly. I don't know why we moved to Phoenix.
Dang, you moved around a lot.
Yeah, we moved a lot as a kid.
Was your
But-
dad still part of the like this translating group during this time?
Yeah, I think
Is that
most of my
maybe
dad's
why you
career, not that particular group, but it was more with the U.S. companies and American companies. Like
you know what's interesting
contractors.
is I have I have a lot of like Arab drivers or guys from Iraq
Yeah.
and stuff. Literally, the spots that you've mentioned, other than Salt Lake City,
Mm-hmm.
but every other spot that you've mentioned are places where there are big like Arab communities or Iraqi communities. San Diego, huge one. Phoenix,
The big one for
huge
Kurds.
one.
That's
Yeah.
the number 2 spot. Number 1
Norfolk,
is-
even in Norfolk, there's like a pretty
No way.
yeah.
So maybe they were all being brought over like on this
There's-
refugee.
yeah,
well,
you kind of.
there's a bunch of
there was a
Ukrainians
large
there too.
You just group them up. It's just better as a community.
The one
Yeah.
that you didn't mention was Detroit, Michigan. Huge.
Yeah, Dearborn.
Dearborn. Huge community there.
If you look up Dearborn, it's like Baghdad.
It's like, I mean, dude, it's
I mean, I don't know why Middle Easterns like Arabs wanted to go to Dearborn.
You go to vacation there?
it's the coldest spot.
never
I want to
been
go
there.
back home.
I was never been there, but
It's like the coldest spot is like
oh, that snow. I'm like, how do you come from like Baghdad, Iraq?
Desert to snow. huh?
Yeah. I mean, our area is like mountainous where it's like living in Colorado up north, but you got these guys from Baghdad. It's dry as hell and it's
right.
Maybe that's why they
40
like
degrees.
it's different, you know?
Yeah.
It's not the same old
like
sun
finally we don't have to
every day.
sweat.
Yeah. You just shiver and freeze. That's better.
Yeah, but I'm like, I still don't understand that to this day, why they want to live out in a place where it's like 7 months of winter.
I mean, here's a hot take. Maybe it's because they're like, I don't know if this is wrong to say, but like Arab people are very hairy, you know,
Yeah.
so maybe they're always hot. And so they're like, let's go to somewhere cold.
Hey,
On your own on this one.
Little
And
point
they don't
on
wear
that.
jackets out there, right?
Little point on that. I don't understand that. Like, as being a barber and just understanding hair, the hottest places in the world have the hairiest people. But the coldest places in the world have the least hairiest people.
That's true. You do like Sweden. and
Maybe
all
it's
that.
like a
like
body's
the
way of protecting
Scandinavians.
yourself from the
Yeah.
sun or something.
Scandinavians. The Vikings. Why are Vikings all super hairy?
Yeah, you would think like they'd be hairy as hell, like a Yeti or something.
Yeah.
But
That's a very good point.
But then you're gonna, God is like, I'm just gonna put hair on these guys. I'm gonna take them from these guys. I'm gonna give these guys.
They're gonna learn.
it's already hot.
And I'm gonna turn it up, hot and humid. And it was just like, I was like, I don't get this.
Yeah.
Why are we hairy?
What high school did you go to here?
North Star.
North Star.
Yeah.
I went
You
to
went to
North Star.
North
too.
Star.
I did.
I mean, it's pretty much the United Nations up there.
It's the same.
It's the second United. I mean, Lincoln High is.
Lincoln High is ghetto.
Yeah.
But North Star is it's the United
Yeah.
Nations.
I mean, North Star, you go down the hallways, it's like, oh, you hear, and then you hear all the different languages. You barely hear like English there, and I'm like,
That made no sense, but all this.
No, I think we understood.
yeah, I don't know languages that good, but hey, this. I was like, man,
Let's just say
Star's
it's
home.
definitely not like Southwest or it's not like East High School. Let's just say it's nothing like it.
no. We all understand what the word is, but
right. Okay, so you start cutting hair right around in high school, right? Is that something?
Well,
that,
no, you said 12th grade, and then you really.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
Like I just dabbled into it till about 24, and I was at the barbershop, and then my boss called me, and I was just outside, and my barber's pissed off at me, like, hurry up and get inside. I got to cut your hair. And we're on a time crunch, or it's appointments. That's all we did. And I was like, my bad. I was like, what happened? He was like, my boss called me. He said, I got to think about my life and blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
Pretty much he pissed me off. He was like, you didn't call in. You didn't do this. You got to think about your life. You got to evaluate your situation unless you want to keep working here. And I was like, do I want to keep working here?
Said, you know what? I will reevaluate my
yeah,
life. Thank
good
you for
point,
that.
boss.
I told that to my barber at the time, and he just like, you're an idiot. I was like, what the hell did I do? Why is everybody bashing me today?
Said
And he
the
was
boss
like-
is calling me the barber.
Yeah,
the barber.
It was just like a bad day that led up to the bubble bursting, and I just came to the realization. He was like, every time you come in here, you tell me how to do the haircut. You know all the terms. You're the only person in my chair that knows exactly what I'm doing. He's like, are you not thinking at this point? Do you not hear the light bulb hitting?
Yeah.
You? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, go down to barber school, you idiot. He was
Clearly
like,
not.
he was like, I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? I don't think I'm right for it. He was like, no, you're right for it. He's like, I want you to go right after this and go down to 11th and M and just go down there. He's like, just walk in and take a tour. I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, hour later, we got a fresh cut, going down to the barber school. And I was like, hey, how do I get started here? Just walk in the front door. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll get you set up with the counselor.
This is all the same day.
All the same day.
All the same.
Wow.
So you had like a big bang like
Before-
type of
yeah,
day.
before noon. My haircut was at 10 a.m. I got done at 11.
It's like salvation, bro.
Yeah.
Like it happened
And-
right there and then.
I took a tour. She showed me around, talked to a couple of the people there, and I just, asked them my stupid questions, like, what kind of clippers you use? I was just being particular.
What color?
I'm
are they?
Yeah, it was stupid shit like that. And I was just talking to some of the students around. I was like, how is it? He was like, honestly, we just sit here and cut hair. I'm like, oh, fair enough.
Sounds nice.
Do you get paid while you're in barber college?
No, you pay.
And you cut people's hair.
That's true.
You only get tips.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Do they put you in different lounges, or is it like
No,
No,
you're at
you-
the,
you're at the college, people walk in and get haircuts?
So there's like multi-levels to that one in downtown. Obviously, the east one's a lot nicer, but they separate them. So the downtown one's barbering. The east campus one by like South Menard, that's like estheticians and
Yeah.
cosmetologists. But yeah, the downtown one's fully barbering now. Back then it was a mix. And then, yeah, you have upstairs, which is like a loft or a mezzanine, whatever they call it. It's all barbers. And then, but now it's like the program's so popular, the whole building's barbers.
Wow.
They don't do cosmetology there anymore.
So barbering
Barber
is
school.
popping.
Yeah, it's, man, I think I came in right before the sweet spot where it was, I can build up my clientele like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think it's a little saturated.
Why do you
especially
think
in Lincoln.
it like booms so much?
I think it's the whole trades. A lot of the trades are making a bigger, impact. Not just barbering, but I mean, you talk about welding, plumbing.
Yeah.
Those, I'm not gonna lie, pay a little bit better than
Barbering.
No. Like, I mean, I'm up there with them, but I mean, you're gonna get paid six figures to do a trade, like
Right.
plumbing or
Right.
something.
100%.
Yeah, trades are popping
But
right now.
You
for
spend
sure.
4 years at a college,
Yeah.
right, to business major.
Whatever you do, yeah.
Yeah, and then you go to work in an office. It's like, yeah, you're pretty much buying a prison cell. in my
Yeah.
opinion.
That's
Bro,
You're
but
in
do
a
you think
cubicle.
this whole boom of trades popping off all of a sudden was a psyop? Because if you think about it, Barack's first term, he was saying there's a huge decline of trades. Do you guys remember this? Like nobody's doing it. We're going to be putting in programs. We're going to be doing things to make sure that trading, like trade school and people going into trades is going to be growing up. And now it's like our generation, and not even our generation, the generation after us, bro, everybody's going in trades. Like I know people that used to work for me and like, bro, like 10 of them are in trades now. Plumbing, electricians, like I would have like, that wasn't even a thought in my head as I grew up to go into a trade. It wasn't even a thought.
But also like making money from a trade is, you make a lot more money now than you did 20 years ago.
That's
like, it's pretty prestigious now. Anybody you ask, like, hey, I've got a plumbing company, I've got an electrical company, they're pretty
you're
loaded.
talking owner, but even that's an owner. But I'm saying like someone who's in plumbing, like if you're a plumber,
Yeah, even like
you're making
employees.
decent money.
You work for it, but yeah.
You work for it, but it's
I mean, you got to step up to a journeyman. That's where the true money is in those industries.
right.
Yeah, but that's years and years, isn't it?
Yeah, I was 5 years or so.
5 years though. It's not that long.
Yeah, 5
But
years
you're
and
getting
making
paid
six
from
figures?
day one.
You are, even as an
Going to
apprentice.
school.
Yeah. And a lot of them will pay for your schooling if you sign a contract to work for them for, I think, like 2 years or something.
I think one of them I heard is 4 years. But hey,
Depends on
you're
who.
getting paid the whole time.
Yeah.
that's
not?
you're guaranteed a
And,
job
like-
out and in. Like,
And I know every single person that has a license, every single one of them is always booked up with side jobs. Like,
yeah,
seriously, I look for people, if they tell me they're like a plumber or an electrician and they can pull permits, all right, you're interesting to me. I will probably use you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they seem happier.
They do seem pretty happy.
I feel
actually.
like I've heard this like on certain videos where it's like if you work with your hands, you feel more accomplished.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
That makes sense.
construction work.
Well, I think it's because like you get to, like you actually get to see your work be
Yeah,
done.
you get gratification.
Gratification.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
validation right away.
Like
Absolutely.
besides like sitting in an office, you're just like,
Yeah,
all the emails are clear.
I finished
Right.
this spreadsheet. Yes.
You push the chain a little bit
You're
further.
just a one paper in a stack, you know.
As
in an
well,
office.
yeah, essentially.
Hey, not knocking those guys. They make money too. Today,
Yeah.
I guess it is somewhat about
So
income.
so then let's
But the
start.
kill yourself rate is way higher on those jobs. Anyway,
Moving on.
I'm just saying, bro. You never see a barber jumping out of a skyscraper. It's
So-
always these office employees.
That's a good point.
Fair enough.
We'll put a pin in that. We're gonna.
We're usually on the first floor, so it doesn't really make an impact.
So it doesn't work.
They, just
He
go,
said-
they lay down. they
We
take a
do
break.
jump though.
I said we
It
got
just
straight
doesn't-
blades.
Anyway,
This is getting dark.
Nobody's gone there. No, nobody has heard of.
Anyway,
Nobody. Oh,
so what's it called? You start cutting hair, right? So this is like you would go to barber school, right?
yeah, I came back to the factory the next day. I was like 2 weeks or 2 months. I said that straight to my manager's face.
How did that feel?
Amazing.
Amazing. Like,
did he kick you out that day?
No, he was just confused.
I would have.
you're like,
He
I'm
was
getting
like-
my life in
He
order.
was like, "What are you talking about? 2 weeks or 2 months? What happened?" I was like, "You told me to reevaluate my life." And
oh, I bet he felt
that-
so dumb.
that hit me hard, and I was like, straight. I mean, I said that with my chest, confidence. I came in there. I was practicing in a mirror. I'm like, get this guy, because I was like, oh, I'd never been like, not to say I was hurt, but I'd never been like that, frustrated
Yeah.
in my life.
Almost
where
like
it's-
disrespected.
yeah, disrespected for sure. But it was kind of the kick in the butt I needed.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe he was not trying to do that, but that's what happened. And
Man, the
lo
stars
and
really
behold,
aligned that day, though.
Yeah, I mean the vision was clear.
So you start cutting hair, right? So you're at the barber school.
Yeah.
Were you already working at a barber shop? Like at what
No,
point did
no.
you
Oh, didn't you hear him, bro?
legally-
It all happened in one day.
No, I know.
He went to the college that same day. The next day he quit. Like that's the
I
universe blew
started
up in
2
that
months-
moment.
2 months later, I got to work, save up because
Right.
you don't got much opportunity to work at
Right.
barber school. You're in there for 40 hours.
Yeah.
It's a clock in credit.
Wow.
So you're out there. You starting Monday. So yeah, first 20 weeks is Monday through Friday. Then after the 20 weeks, you go onto the floor.
Since it's for barbers, 12 to 8, right?
Yeah,
Really?
12 to 8.
I was just joking because you guys all come in late.
No, dude, we came in at 8 and we ended at 5.
It's a great schedule.
My
Classic
nighttime
job.
job started at 5. I was like, how do I clock out and get over there? But
Oh,
luckily-
so you went to work after?
Yeah, I worked till about 10 or 12. And I was doing that for about 7 days a week, the work part. I mean, you have to.
Right.
So you ended
So
up
you
doing
gotta
the
pay
2
for
months or
college,
the
yeah.
2 weeks?
I took the 2 months because I had to wait 2 months anyways for the new class to start anyways because it was like it's every 20 weeks back then. Now it's every 10 weeks they start a new class.
Right.
And so I had a job working at security. on the weekends. So that was like 32 hours a weekend. I was doing double shifts. I told my supervisor, don't hire a second guy.
That's
got it.
crazy.
Wow.
Basically working full time over a weekend.
I was working about 80 hours a week just to prepare for barbering school. You know, saved up some good amount of money just to get through it. A year and 2 months. And then, I got a job at Pickleman's in downtown, just delivering pizzas on the side.
Bro, what is up with Pickleman's? I've heard so many barbers, especially at Faded. So, everybody worked at this sandwich shop. What is this a special sandwich
Just
shop?
convenient location?
The GM was Middle Eastern. We didn't all just hire Middle Eastern.
Right.
That whole shop is kind of
we had
Middle
a couple
Eastern.
like
If the shoe fits. I mean, I guess
Hey, we had
The beard grows.
It was a 50-50. Mostly Middle Eastern.
Right.
50. Middle Eastern 50-50 or American 50-50?
Night shift was Middle Eastern's. Day shift was the college, the white kid. You know?
It was the proper folk.
Yeah. You know, you got all those businesses around. You don't want us idiots working. Nighttime, it's
that
fine.
government
Everybody's
building
drunk.
right across the street.
Deliver my food, but don't work in my office.
Those guys across the street are pretty clean cut, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, law enforcement.
So moving into, you said barber school is 20 weeks?
No, it's a year and 2 months.
Okay. So
Now it's a year flat. So they go based off of hours. So back then it was 2,100 or 2,200 hours. So you have to complete that. You're on a contract. So if you miss a day, you add those to your back end of your contract. You miss a day, obviously, you know, whether you get financial aid or whatever. So once you go over contract, you pay that out of pocket.
Oof.
So I got suspended for a week. Thank you.
So did you just make it up the next
How'd you get suspended?
week?
I came in, back then they had really strict like scheduling. If you came in 30 minutes late or, you know, any minute late on
So this
Saturday.
is not like college at all. It's like a job.
Yeah. I hope they're a little bit better and a little more lenient. I think back then it was just overkill. They had so many rules. It was so annoying. I mean, not saying nationwide is like this, but this specific school in Lincoln was like that. And man, did they annoy the crap out of barbers. One time we had the state board officer there and everybody was complaining in front of the owner, like giving him the raw end of the
He
stick.
probably never came back, huh?
I mean, there's not much the state board guy can do. The owner is an owner.
Right. Yeah.
That's his business. He has his policy. But it's just, you push somebody that hard and everybody gets so frustrated. And that's what was happening.
Do you know a lot of people that went the barber school route? Like how many barbers that you know go the barber school route versus
Don't
they
you
just
have
cut
to?
hair?
You have to in Nebraska.
You have to, right?
There is no
You
other
have to
option.
have a
I
license
didn't
for
know
it.
that.
Yeah, Nebraska's pretty strict on that. Iowa's strict like that. Same hours, same everything.
I feel like that's everywhere.
Yeah.
Kind of have to have a
But
license because
I've only heard of like Alabama, you have to have 600 hours, which is like 3-4 months maybe. And some states will just let you do an apprenticeship. So you just go with an established barber, hang out at his shop, and he just verifies that you learn through that.
Why so many hours to learn how to cut hair? Is it like a ton of
You don't. I don't. Want to, you
not
don't
just
learn
skill,
how
right?
to cut hair.
you more learn the hygiene side of it, or
hygiene,
what?
Yeah, sanitations.
So,
The
okay,
germs.
I remember talking to you about it. Is it because of the straight blade or is that a separate license you have to get?
In Texas, you have to do that. It's a separate license. I found that out the other day. In Nebraska, as long as you're titled a barber, you can do everything that a cosmetologist does. In Nebraska, in reverse, they can't use a straight razor.
Okay, I heard about that.
Yeah.
So I heard that's why you like they're so particular because you're putting like a blade to someone's neck, so you have to be like
you got bloodborne pathogens, and
Yeah.
you cut somebody, you risk hepatitis and God forbid AIDS and stuff
Right.
like that. The very bad stuff.
So where'd you work at right after?
Oh man, that first one was bad. Sorry, this is going to be a lot of bad before it gets good.
Good, no,
Right. That's what we're
That's
doing.
why you're here.
that's the idea of the podcast.
A lot.
I'm also just for that first year. You said it's 8 years of cutting hair.
Yeah, that first year was pretty bad.
I want to know how much you made too.
Oh,
What someone
I gotcha.
expects.
Gotcha.
So what was it? How was it? First year. Who'd you work for too?
So yeah, do you want me?
It's
your
up
call.
to you.
And
If you don't want to name drop, don't name
you can
drop.
describe the shop. You can describe the details.
I mean,
and
this
stuff.
place was a small, like the size of this room, you know,
Okay.
and it was 4 of us in there at one point. It was the owner,
Okay.
and I came there. My buddy Fish was there. He was the one that actually got me the spot, and then I had another one of my buddies, Juan. He came with me because he was like, "Hey, I'm about to graduate. You think you can give me a spot there?" His parents' Spanish restaurant's right across the street.
Oh, he was
So-
Mexican?
Yeah.
Oh.
And, you know, The other two guys are just black guys. Why are you being Ed's just being Ed.
Not Middle Eastern.
Ed is just being.
Hey, I mean, there's not too many Middle Eastern barbers here specifically. Go to San Diego, yeah, everyone,
yeah.
Depends on the shop, right?
I guess. I mean, I feel like I know a lot of Middle Eastern barbers.
That's the ones you go to.
Yeah. Well, they followed me. That's why.
They said, I'm a pioneer. I pioneered this.
Not to say I was the one that opened the floodgates, but I was kind of one of the first ones to go.
I did hear about you. I remember, because I was like very white boy.
Supercuts
At first.
You know this. You
And
know how
then-
many years it took for us to peel him away from supercuts and great clips? I was like, bro, like your hairline.
It's sport clips.
Your
That's
sp-
the one
we
I was
have to
going
make
to.
Your
fun of his
hairline's
hairline.
already
Lot.
receding. Like,
still
bro,
wants
you
to
need to
hide
fix
the,
it up, bro. You
bumps.
boxing out that bag.
Well, no. So, here's the thing. I heard from
They're receding your hairline for you.
I was hearing from multiple people like you got to go to Ava. Like if you go to they're like go to a real barber. You can go to Faded or that's when I heard about you. But they're like specifically go to Ava because the other just specific. You won't regret it if you go to Ava.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready for Faded. Ed wasn't ready.
I probably nah.
Faded's cool. You guys are cool, but you're not a Faded type. You guys can handle it. Ed would have been like, "Oh, I don't want to be here."
I'm too white. Yeah.
Probably.
He would have been like, "The heck's going on? Why is that guy just doing that over there?"
He said, "Bro, he's in his space, dude."
But,
He was on
They're
the.
not
He
in
had
a
an
suit?
appointment, dude.
yeah.
So what's the pay structure as well as like what was it like working? The pay structure of how a barber, because I don't even know how barbers
So there's two
that work
different
for someone get
two
paid.
different brackets, categories of how to get paid.
Mhm.
There's, you rent a chair, you work for yourself, you bring in the clients, or you go off a commission. Most commission places are going to be like corporate. Those are like
sports clips.
yeah, more sports clips. There are a couple like mom and pop places that will do it, but I think you're selling yourself short if you do that. Yeah, there's upfront like a lot of risk being like chair
Taken
rental
off, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and gaining your own clients. But that's an easy start if you're commission. Everything's given to you.
Right.
Clients, supplies. I mean, they don't give you clippers or whatever. You got to use those, but they might be specific to a certain thing at that shop.
Right.
Maybe you have to wear a uniform. You got to be on the clock.
Right.
You clock in, just like a regular job. And I was like, I didn't spend a year and 2 months doing this to be told when to clock in and how to come.
Yeah, back to a job.
Yeah.
Man, it is like that now.
So
You are self-employed, so you got to sacrifice a lot.
Explain the chair rental. That doesn't make any sense.
Chair rent. So
Yeah,
they
this
just-
blew my mind. I
Yeah.
did not know this when I figured this out, but
So, the first shop, I think I was paying $300 a month for it. It wasn't a very busy shop. I was there for about 2 months, and then the owner just had a bad personality. He was an alkie. Yeah.
Happens.
When you come in and sit like, hey, how's it going, guys? Good. How are you? And then like 20 minutes later, he's gone. Goes down to the Tamo Shatner across the back door area.
right.
And he comes back at 4 and starts cutting. You're an alcoholic.
Rough.
he would cut drunk? That's
But
crazy.
he was a good, he was a functional alcoholic. It was crazy. In my opinion, he
said
did
it was a-
Did he cut better when he had alcohol in the system?
His hands probably shake less.
Yeah, I think the shaking stopped, but for sure,
Yeah.
I think his clients knew, which was a little scary to me.
That's
I would
crazy.
never. I'd get up. and
That's
walk
why I
away.
don't want
So
to.
like, let me get this
crazy.
straight blade to your neck. Let me fade that up, bro.
So
But-
when you rent a chair, do you still pay the owner like a commission
you
of the
put-
haircuts, or is
No,
it just it's straight up everything?
So it's
You pay like your $300 for the month. Everything you make after that's yours. It's in your pocket.
So you rent the chair, but you don't get any of the equipment. You don't get any of that. You just have that
you gotta-
spot.
You're
Yeah,
basically
it's your
renting
chair,
a
your-
warehouse.
Yeah,
Like if you would.
yeah. You're just renting that little space. Obviously, they got to provide a chair. That's a standard.
Right.
And then table and whatever, and then basically you just pay your $300 or whatever you agreed upon, and then you pretty much whatever you make after that's yours.
So your first year, what did you make?
Dude, I'll tell you my first day what I made.
Oh, for sure.
First freaking day at that shop.
Yeah.
All day. I think it was about 5:30.
Yeah.
We're about to close at 6. My first and only client comes in of the day. My first day.
At 5:30.
I mean, if there was you weren't beat up or had the worst day of your life, that was it for me right there. I mean, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna make a killing. I'm gonna do haircuts.
This is at that little shop?
That little shop. My first day, 5:30. One of the guys I knew, he's like one of my buddy's younger brothers. He comes in. He's like, hey, you still got time for me? And I'm like, dude, I haven't done a single thing. Please.
A lot of time.
Please.
It's just like you're looking at this guy, and they've been in it for like 20 years, and you're just like, damn, did I make a mistake?
Dang, that's sobering right there.
I made $20 off the haircut. That was the price of the haircut back then. And he tipped me $2, and I was like, best $22 I've made in my life.
Nice.
Brought me back up.
Yeah.
I was at the lowest point right there.
Sales have a way of doing that. They just bring you right back
And I
up.
was just like, whatever. I made something. And then, it just started stepping, getting a little higher and higher. People knew where I was. People said like, oh, yeah. My brother sent people over, family. He was like, oh, yeah, go to my brother. He's a barber. And I went around, try to make myself known around.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how did you do the marketing? Like, was it all word of mouth, or did you do any like actual marketing or like?
So let's just go. Like I left that shop 2 months after finding out the personality wasn't there. Mm-hmm. I left, Fish left, Juan left. All three of us. We went to another shop on like 31st and Holdridge, and we're like, hey, 3 of us are going to come. We're going to lock in the rent at $300 a pop per person every month. He was like, you down with that? And we like, you have nobody in your shop. It was just the owner, and he just rebuilt his shop, remodeled, yeah. And we're like, hey, well, all three come literally start Monday. Do you want that or not? You're making $900. Boom. And he was like, yeah, come on down. I got brand new chair, brand new shop, all set up. But we all went there. We were like, I went up to the owner. Everybody else was scared, the other two guys. And I was like, I'm not scared of this dude. I'm just going to tell him I'm leaving. Because, one day he came over and like pretty much took the shears out of my hand, told me how to cut my client in a chair. And I felt so bad. I've been cutting this guy for like 2 months. A brand new client. One of my buddies sent him over.
Wow.
Dude, he took his hair and he's like, that's too long. You got to cut it down to 1 inch. I'm like, man, how much did this guy drink today?
Jeez.
It went bad. And I had to walk with my client. I was like, hey, I can't charge you. He was like, no, you got to take this money. It's all good. But I was like, no, dude, I feel so bad. I was like, this isn't the haircut I gave you. He was like, don't worry, the fade looks good. I was like, but the top is shorter. He's like, it's all good. I'll just do a spiky haircut. He was so like chill with it. But I was like, man.
Yeah,
it was
very
sad.
embarrassing.
Yeah, we left the next day, and I was like, dude, I can't do this. I'm not gonna work with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Yeah, we went to the other guy's place, and we started there. And the way I gain clients is crazy. The weekends, Uber.
Oh,
You drove Uber?
Yeah,
I did
everybody
Uber
told me
I
this.
didn't know that.
to supplement like the income because I had to pay student loans. Like, you get a little leeway. They lie to you.
They do.
When they give you a buffer.
Yeah, they do.
You don't have to pay for 6 months. Don't worry. I'm like, sure. They freaking compound the interest like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
My
that
first
interest is
Trust.
Dude, my first payment was all $600. I paid it, and they were like, "Hey, you're late on your payment." I was like, "What are you talking about?" It was like they didn't even give me 2 days. They're like, they called me like, "Hey, you didn't pay your student loans. You're late." And I was like, "I thought you gave me a 6-month buffer." And the whole payment with interest.
I'm learning that hard right now. My wife just finished school, and man, that interest compounds like there's no tomorrow. So you just got to be like,
Pay it.
yeah,
Pay it.
like crazy.
Yeah. The funniest thing was I started gaining clients like crazy with Uber. Because
really.
people are like, is this your only job that you do? You do this at nighttime? I'm like, yeah, I do this, but I'm also a barber. They're like, no way, you're a barber? And then I had a bunch of cards in this little cubby on a dash. I grab a card. I was like, yeah, I'm a barber. I'm at 31st and Holdridge. And it's like a bunch of college kids.
That's really smart.
And they were like, the ones that you get talking, I'm like, I usually start with like, hey, how's your night going? Good, blah, blah, blah. And then they ask you the typical questions like, is this your only job? I don't know. That was always the same
You
question.
probably love that question.
This was probably right when Uber came out. too,
That
right?
was the opener.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to force myself onto people.
Yeah.
Like sell myself. They
asked.
they asked me,
That's
and
really
then
interesting.
it was a natural way to deliver my card. And it worked. I think one time I gave 2 kids. They worked at the farmhouse fraternity. They were there. And 2 of them. I gave him one of my cards, and he was like, yeah, I'm looking for a barber. I just moved into town. He's like a Western Nebraska kid on the farm or whatever. And I gave him a haircut. He went back to the fraternity house. 2 hours later, another guy showed up. And he was like, hey, you just gave my buddy a haircut. Do you have time still? And back then, we were doing walk-ins. Not just appointments. I was like, yeah, I got you. Come on in. I was like, just hang out for a minute. I'm finishing this dude. And then a couple days later, 3 of them show up. It was like, hey, you give us our friends' haircuts, and we liked it. Do you mind giving us a haircut?
Dang, you straight up
That's
locked in a
Yeah.
fraternity.
Wow. And they just kept
That's
coming.
so cool.
Dope.
And like, obviously, people across the neighborhood, they see it.
Uh-huh.
I like to stand outside so people can see us. I do that a lot. That's the Middle Eastern thing, too.
Yeah, every time I roll up to your barber shop,
Yeah, I'm
you're
hanging
always
out.
outside, just
Yeah.
chilling there. I was like,
It's just like a good way to get the surrounding neighbors in, because they're just like, I'm the only one in that neighborhood that actually stands outside. The rest of them are doctors and lawyers, bankers. They're not going to stand.
too good for you.
That dude don't
Yeah.
belong here.
I think we're the loiterers in the parking lot.
His hair's a little dark.
It's always funny, but like all the neighbors in my neighborhood, they're all pretty chill. They all know me. They're really nice people.
So
do
then,
you
go ahead.
do you have any clients that have been with you since day one to this day?
Yeah.
You do.
Oh, wow.
Wowza.
Since barbering school.
Whoa.
The one of them, he's like a really good friend of mine, Hugo. He was actually my partner at that security job.
Uh-huh.
I was the guy in the guard check, and he was the one that roamed around the
That's
campus.
nuts.
Yeah, he's been with me since day one.
Does he got is he have the day one discount?
No, he still pays 4 parts. He comes late a lot. He doesn't get that discount ever.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't really give out discounts. I give out freebies,
Right.
like, things where...
Yeah, that's why I like to schedule my haircuts on my birthday.
But it's my birthday.
We've traded before.
Yeah.
I think I made you a hoodie or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I like to barter. That's the biggest thing now. That's awesome.
Kurdish.
The bartering barber.
The bartering barber.
Bartering,
Title.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
Tax free. You're trading, right? There's no tax
Yeah.
involved in that.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, everybody wins. You get what you want, I get what I want.
So did you? At what point did you switch to? Because I know at one point you were at at Faded, and then you moved to your own, basically your own spot where it's your own chair. That's it.
Well, you want to hear the story about the 31st and Holdridge? Why I left there?
Yeah, I was like, you're jumping ahead. I'm like, hey, because
Take
like,
us from
one.
Holdridge to Faded.
Oh my god,
that one was bad.
that one was terrible.
Let's hear
It
it.
sounded like it started
It sounded, yeah, like.
Yeah, I mean,
Can you give numbers like here again? Like I'm not gonna pressure, but like okay, you just got out of barber school. What was your first year like? Just so like people that are out there wanting to be barbers, because I do think people do have a misconception, and I think it's because like Vic Blends, like all of these celebrity barbers, they ball and so like people think like, oh, barber, you gonna be making bands.
well, I mean, those guys, you can't really just take that. It's social media,
Right.
Everybody lies. Social media, nobody telling the truth.
That's true.
But I mean, my first year, I think I cleared 15,000.
Oof.
But haircuts were $20 back then.
Yeah, that's a
very
$20 bucks.
$20 would
You
be
give
nice
me a
now.
20 bill.
Yeah, 20 is a
I
20.
did everything for you.
right.
Everything.
So you would do
Now-
anything for a 20.
Not everything. David's a little too much today.
David, you calm down.
I thought Ed was that way. Let's leave Ed on that subject. But yeah, I mean, it was the hair and beard, eyebrows, whatever you wanted.
750 haircuts. That's what 2015.
Oh, you did the math,
Yeah,
huh?
I was like, God, bro, that's
Yeah.
a lot of work. I feel
That's
like.
2 haircuts a day. Which,
I mean, I'm clearing 1,000 haircuts a year so far.
at that one or at this one right now?
Like currently.
currently. Was
You
it
know, I
three
was taking-
haircuts a day? 3, 4? No, you
3
don't
or
work
4.
weekends. No, you don't work weekends.
I do
a
like
lot
8
more-
to 10
Yeah.
haircuts a day.
I think you're
I
doing
have
more
a-
haircuts than you think.
Yeah. Well, he's
I think you're
clearing
doing a-
1,000, but that
No,
doesn't
I
mean
meant
he's
like
only
1,000
doing
heads a year.
Oh,
Sorry,
1,000
that-
separate
Oh.
clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, monthly.
Dang.
Monthly, I'm
Do the math.
clear-
Do the math.
Monthly, I think I'm clearing about 140, 150 clients a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
nice.
Yeah. That's a good number. And it's return customers.
Right.
Illy's there.
You
every
get
2 weeks.
about 20% newer, and I'm
Yeah.
about 80%. I like those numbers better.
Yeah, I mean, like-
Statistically,
Yeah.
you want to retain your clients.
Yeah.
It's cheaper in a business.
100%.
Does it work for barbering? Not really. You get a cheap client, new client, whatever. That
It's all
doesn't
the
matter
same.
in barbering.
Yeah.
It does,
business in
like,
general.
say
Like-
your industry. You want to retain an older client because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But in
So like
barbering-
clients are important,
Yeah.
right? Like out of us three, who's the most important client? Would you say?
Because you go there every 2 weeks.
You guys
most
can't do that.
important.
Okay, how about this? Money aside.
Okay.
So I know he goes every week, so it doesn't count. But
Every 14 days.
whatever. Well, I'm like there once a month.
I said, I just
Yeah,
Once every
respect.
2.
Yeah. So that aside, who's the most interesting?
Interesting.
to talk to or to be around or whatever.
Who do you want in your chair out of these 3 people?
Paul.
Good answer. Good
He
answer.
looks like Paul, so it's all right.
At least my hairline is not receding. Whatever, bruh.
You guys all say your hairline's receding.
Yeah, but his is.
Greg will say it. David has said it. You have said it.
Yeah, I say it as a joke. I know my junk is straight. It ain't going nowhere.
You just keep telling yourself
Ed's hair, no, it's not receding.
Yeah, that junk getting pushed back every day. Anyway, let's
Sorry,
hop back.
get back into the.
Okay, so we've
Holdridge
established it's
location.
me, Holdridge. This guy.
Yeah, Holdridge, it came down to like one day, I was like, hey, this guy, he had a shop. He was in and out. He was making money off of us, so he didn't really care.
Right.
I was getting a lot of his clients because they're like, oh, yeah, where's so-and-so? And I'm like, I don't know where he's at. I think he left for the day. And then all his clients like, are you available? And I'm like, yeah, if you want to sit in my chair, come on in. You know, let's do this. And yeah, I think he saw that. The jealousy started stirring up the owner. And,
Oh, snap.
yeah, and
Like he thought you were stealing his clients?
I mean, you steal clients
Just 'cause he wasn't
if,
there
if the
yet.
client wants to sit in your chair
Yeah.
and you're not available.
Right.
In this industry,
That makes sense.
I've never stolen a client. I've never forced anybody to come sit in my chair. We joke around at Faded.
Yeah, well, it did happen at Faded. All I'm saying.
But you chose that.
I
was
did
cutting up
choose that.
David first.
Ah,
Yeah.
see,
I told you.
David came in and you just
So,
walked in?
so
You know,
no,
I recommended him and I
Yeah.
told him, go to this barber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Like,
said
he
go to
went-
this barber, but he was busy. Or I had an appointment. He wasn't there. And I'm like, man, I really need a haircut. And I saw you,
Yeah.
and I think you were like, hey, my spot's open.
Yeah.
You need a haircut. And I went and got a haircut from Ava.
Yeah.
And I was like,
were you there in
this
the
is-
morning?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I was the only one in there.
I was
that's
like,
why.
man, this is nice. This is a
What
good
do you mean by
haircut.
morning? 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. We
No,
started
it-
opening up 10
Barber
11.
mornings are
It was
crazy.
a great haircut. I was like, man, I've never gotten like
Yeah.
a good haircut.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, Ilya, you're going to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Get this guy.
Yeah.
No, it's just like, dude.
Ilya, that's one of my friends, so I can't speak bad about him. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
He just didn't really.
My
have
junk
his
was
focus
always
yet.
getting messed up. I'm just saying, bro. Like, I have no hate. Seriously, I get it. Hustle. But, bro, like, don't mess my junk up. You know what I mean? Don't mess my hair up. It's important,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so, like, yeah, I remember when I went over to Ava's, like, I don't think you've ever, man, I hate saying this because it's scary saying, but you've never messed up my haircut.
I've never had a bad haircut from Ava.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, we keep getting sidetracked.
Anyway.
That's probably my fault. The conversation always gets carried away from me. But
All right, this guy's getting jealous. You're snagging clients.
Yeah.
You're saying, screw this guy. Let
Yeah.
me get.
He's coming in with a
And
baseball
Fight the
bat.
power.
you know, he had a couple brothers that would always come in. No, not barbering, no nothing. Just hang out at the shop. It's weird. And then one day I was just like, dude, you gotta like tell your clients or your brothers to stop being such overbearing and making that vibe weird in here.
Mhm.
Because one of his brothers just slept in the back. They had a back shop area.
Slept in the shop.
Yeah, not in the shop, but there was like a back room.
Mhm.
That's in the shop.
That's weird.
There was
Different
there was
rooms.
a lot of issues. I don't want to badmouth the guy. You know, he's okay, dude. He's in the community. I mean, he had a time in his life that was pretty hard and
Mhm.
Right.
kind of pushed everything towards everybody else.
Right.
You know, instead of dealing with it. You know, nothing against the guy. I get it. Life happens. It hurts. sometimes.
Business is business. Work is
Yeah.
work.
But yeah, I mean, one day I just told him like, hey, can you just control your brothers? And he was just like, he went off on me and he didn't even do it face to face. Did it through messages. And I was just trying to like clear it up. I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I just telling you how I see it. It's like, hey, this is going to affect business for all of us.
Right.
People come in and your brothers are like being weird over there and
Yeah.
Yeah.
walking around in their underwear.
Oh my. Wait, what?
Whoa.
Yeah, thank God that happened during like the slowest time. And there was nobody in the shop. And there was like
What the
3-4 of us. in
Wow.
there. And he just comes out and is like, anybody got a cigarette? It's like, I was like, dude, can you please put your pants on? He's, wearing like boxers.
Jeez.
And I'm just like,
Everybody got a cigarette.
he just comes up and I'm like, no, dude, we don't have anything. You got to go in the back, put your clothes on, or dude, you got to stop. What is this? And I texted him. He's like, his older brother, the one that owns it. He's like, just call the cops.
Oh my god.
I'm like, that's your brother. I'm not going to do that.
You
hell?
call the cops.
was
If
just
someone's
like-
going to call the cops, I'm not
I
calling
was
them.
like, I'm not calling the cops on your brother. He didn't do anything bad. I just want you to tell him like, hey, this is crossing the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it came down to that, and it just added more and more
Was
stuff.
he serious when he said call the cops, or was he being like a dick?
he was
Like,
serious.
yeah, call
He
the
was-
cops. You got a
He
problem.
was serious because his brother was kind of in and out.
So this probably wasn't the first time. It was probably
Yeah.
just weird dude.
Yeah, it just came down to one day. That same brother, he was outside. God knows why he's watering the front yard. Because it's like a house. This place, it's like a house that they've turned into a commercial space.
Watering the front yard.
Yeah, and it was just like then I see one of my clients walking around, and I finally comes to the front windows, and I see him like, oh, cool, I'm ready. Get the cape out, do my thing, start looking busy before they come in. Typical barber thing.
Yeah.
Make it look like I've been busy.
Yeah.
It's a confidence booster for them. And me.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, then I just see him, like the guys, like they talk at the front door. The door's closed, and I'm like, whatever. Then my client turns around and just leaves, and I'm like, what the hell? We have a 1 o'clock. I texted the guy. I was like, yeah, come at 1 o'clock. And I go outside and I chase the client down. He only got like, 20, 30 feet down the road. And I'm just like, what happened? He's like, you in an emergency? He's like, no, that guy's in the front said you guys are closed. And I'm like, no, we're not closed. And I'm like, everybody's in here. He's like, he told me to leave. We're closed. He's like, we're not doing haircuts anymore. And I was like, no, don't listen to that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And he's like, okay. Then I bring the client in, and that dude's like just stops watering the lawn. I shut the door behind me. The client's sitting in my chair, and he grabs the client by the arm. He's like, nobody's getting a haircut today. And this is the brother. He's a little not there all the time.
He grabbed the client.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, get your hand out of the client. Like I was like, don't listen. I'm just sitting in the chair. Relax. I'll handle this. And this guy's like, I'm gonna fight you, the old brother. And I was like, good luck. I was a little younger. I was still a little hot-headed compared to today. But I was just like, yeah, it took, it almost started a fist fight in the shop because he was just pushing my buttons all day.
And that client was just sitting there.
Yeah, and it was the most embarrassing
awkward.
point in my barbering career. I did that in front of a client.
Oh, man.
Because I told him, like, he understood. He's like, yeah, that guy didn't look all right. And I was like, yeah, don't listen to him. And yeah, pretty much I called his brother, and he's like, just call the cops. And I'm like, no, I'm going to lock the door and kick him out. And he kept banging on the door, and then eventually just walked away and did his thing.
Jeez.
And then, yeah, another week later, and then I was like, another one of his brothers got out of jail and did some shit. And
Oh,
Dang,
gosh.
just
And I
not
was-
the vibe.
yeah,
huh?
Wow.
same thing. And that guy, he was just, out of jail, just misbehaving. I was just telling him, he was like, man, you keep telling me what to do about my family. My family's going to come in there and do whatever they want. But I was like, yeah, your family can come in here, but they got to behave a certain way in front of clients.
Yeah, it's a
professionalism.
business.
you know?
Yeah,
Right.
like it's common
And-
sense.
And yeah, he was just like, you know what? If you're going to act this way, I'm going to raise your rent. So he raised my rent by $100.
Mm.
And that annoyed me. And I was like, oh, are you going to raise my rent or everybody's rent? Like the other guys? I'm like, that doesn't seem fair because I just, told you how things should happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Pretty much, I was like, man, screw this. If you're going to disrespect me while I'm just trying to give you like better solutions to your business, I just left. I worked for another guy. It took me about a week to find another spot. One of my brother's friends, he's like, oh, I know this one guy. His name is Manny. Real cool dude. He's like on 56 and 0. Real small shop, like about this size. 2
Mhm.
chairs in there. He was like, yeah, come work. I got another chair open. I was paying him $300 a month. That wasn't bad,
Mhm.
And he was like, yeah, just come in, do your thing. Come in whenever you want. It's all good. Here's a key. He's like, I'm here about 6 days a week from 11 to 7. He had established clients.
Right.
And I left on a spur without telling my clients where I went. So I had like maybe 20% of their numbers and contacts.
Oh, snap. That
Yeah.
sucks.
So,
So-
what did your buddies that you brought in, did they stay at that Holdridge location?
So every time somebody would come in and they're like, oh, where's Ava? He'd be like, I don't know where Ava went. He doesn't work here anymore.
The owner would say that?
Yeah, but he's like, but I got you.
Douchebag.
And then like my buddies are still there, like Fish and Juan. And
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, every time he's one of your clients comes in, we try to tell him like where you're at. And I was like, oh yeah, here's the contact. Here's this. Give him my phone number. He's like, yeah, it just feels awkward because he's just like jumps in front of us and telling him like blah blah blah. Don't tell him basically. And he's like trying to keep the clients like out of spite,
Mhm.
Yeah.
He took like 10 capes from me. He said like I don't know where they went. I had like 10 capes. I was like, dude, I had them right here. on
10
my-
capes?
barbering capes that
Oh,
I put
gotcha,
around
gotcha.
you guys. And I let that one go. I don't give a crap.
So when did the big pivoting moment happen? So this is kind of sounding
Yeah,
like a big...
I mean, I was at Manny's for a little bit. Real nice guy. I appreciate the opportunity he gave me. He was like, yeah, I don't care what you do. Just come in, do your thing. But it wasn't busy, you know. It was kind of a hole in the wall place, you know.
So you depended a lot on walk-ins at that time,
Walk-ins,
I'm
yeah,
assuming. And you
first
did
year.
at this previous one too.
Yeah.
So you leave Manny's. Did you go to Faded then?
Champ, he called me from
Okay.
Faded. I don't know how he got my number. Somebody gave it to him or what, but he just randomly hit me up, and I was like, who is this? You know? And it was like, I remember you from barbering school. I was about to graduate, and he seemed like a real cool dude. He's like, I'm about to start opening up Faded here.
You were there when they opened? Like you were there? At the
Yeah,
open?
so there's like 2 guys that were working there 3 months prior during, so you get the lease and all that locked in 3 months, 4 months before that, and he was fixing it up. So he was doing piece by piece. And yeah, he just hit me up. He was like, come to the shop, come check it out. And I was like, cool. And lo and behold, I thought it was an interview. 'Cause I was like,
Yeah.
wait, we interview in this industry? I was like, oh, this guy's like clean cut corporate. But yeah, all we did was go to Sultan Skype. And he was like, dude, I know you. I met you a couple times at the barbering school. I just want to get to know you, see if your personality is still chill from that couple times that I met you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so I don't have to fight for this job? He was like, no.
Just want to make sure you're not crazy.
Yeah, he was like, I just want to make sure, chill, just have a meal and just have a sit down
Yeah.
and just talk about things.
Right.
And he was like, so when you want to start? I was like, I'll start tomorrow.
Nice.
So I was like, no disrespect to Manny, but I was like, business is not there. He had his established clients from like Northeast and all that.
Right.
Spanish guy. And then, you know, and I was like, I'd get a few, and he was like a little busy, and somebody else would bring a friend. He was like, he's available. You want to go to him?
Yeah.
It wasn't going to build me up anytime soon.
Right.
So Faded is where you really started to establish your
Yeah.
clientele.
That's when the career actually took off, where I can call it a career. Money was there.
What were the things that you were doing there that were like, because at this point, because I know
This is what, 3 years in? 2?
No, this is like a year and a half.
Jeez, what
So you
a
had a
Bouncing
crazy
around
first
a lot.
year.
what a tornado, bro.
And
Yeah.
you didn't quit. You weren't like, man,
No,
barbering's
I mean,
nuts.
it's a lesson learned the
Yeah.
hard way.
Yeah.
And
right.
were they like implications of my actions? Not really, because I was just trying to do the best I could, and I came with a business mindset, and I was like, hey, I'm just trying to do the best for everybody,
Right.
so we can all eat.
Yeah.
All of us break
Yeah.
bread, and then
Yeah, you sound like you're definitely a overseer of a barbershop. Do you oversee your path going like as a barber? And we're going to kind of like move forward here a little bit, but
Yeah.
as a barber, is there a ceiling to like your market, to what you can make, and what are the steps like to break through that ceiling?
See, that was happening to me at Faded. That's why I moved to currently the Barber Lounge
Mhm.
when I got my own like private studio room.
Right.
And yeah, there was a ceiling. I was hitting it. And I was just like, nobody else is matching me here.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Right.
putting in an effort. I'd come in at 10, 11 a.m. and leave at 8 or 9 sometimes.
Yeah,
The
bro.
latest.
Everybody would roll up there at like 1 p.m.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
crazy to
Probably
me.
saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I tell people every day, like the guys there, I'm like, you guys need to step it up. It was just me and the other guy, Enrique. You guys know him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enrique's cool.
He's like Goodfellas on Havelock there. I mean, he has kids. Obviously, I understand when he rolls in, but I'm like, these other guys, they're 19 and 20. What do you got to do?
Right.
Live with your parents.
I'll tell you what they did. I heard it all the time. Them boys were popping bottles at
Yeah.
night. And I was like, bro.
Popping bottles.
Like, come on, grow
I
up.
mean, you saw the whole little high card game they were doing every day.
Yeah.
Pick the highest card.
Straight gambling, bro.
Yeah.
I did play it a couple times.
Yeah, they get everybody. They get everybody.
So you can't not play. You know what I
But-
I'd be like, it's fun. Try it.
Yeah.
Again.
Put 20
Oh,
down.
they would egg on the clients. Some clients like, all right, I'll put a 20 in, and
always lose.
always lose. I always lost, and I stopped playing. I was like, man, stop, leave me alone. I'm working here. I was like, I know when I'm a loser at gambling. I'm the bad gambler.
Yeah.
So what'd you start doing that was like, I know you said you moved, but then what else? Like you is there something else that you started doing that kind of set you apart from just the,
Typical barber.
or from where you
Yeah.
were? Right? Like, is there
I mean,
specific things that you, like, was it the scheduling app or whatever? Is that common or not?
Consistency. That's
Or, okay.
if I can give any barber out there, being consistent. That is the biggest thing you got to give in this industry.
In what? Consistent in what?
Being there every day, not every day, but being there when you set your hours.
Mhm.
Don't come in at like, oh, I'm going to come in at 1 on Tuesday and come in at 3 on Wednesday.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm going to roll in whenever I feel like.
Right.
No, I rolled in whether I had a client or not at 10 or 11. We finally locked in at 11 because I was like, let's just go to, we were starting at 10 and none of the guys would show up. I'm like, let's just move it up to, all together, vote on it. Let's go to 11. That's a decent time.
Right.
Late, like afternoonish.
Yeah,
I was getting there. That's a late morning.
As late as morning
You can have
gets.
a breakfast. You can just roll out
You
of
could
bed.
chill, yeah.
Chill, yeah.
And I was like, dude, your swing shift. That's the easiest shift ever. It takes a lot of your day, but whatever. It's barbering.
Yeah.
You got to have a little early. You got to have a little late.
Mhm.
But yeah, even that wasn't working. And I was like, damn, dude, you guys suck. And I was like, I came all the way from the south side, like on 33rd Yankee when I lived with my parents.
Yeah.
I drove all the way north to 27th Fairfield by Menards and Home Depot. I did that 30 minutes up, 30 minutes back every day. I drove an hour. And I was like, these guys live 15 minutes away.
So how did you get into the barber lounge? Did they come to you or did you find them?
I was at my breaking point at Faded.
Mm-hmm.
Another low point where I was just like, I hate this industry. I don't want to be a barber anymore.
Oh,
Well, dang.
Yeah, that was low for me. And I was just like, screw this. Barbering's, I mean, at that point, I think I was more in my feelings about it, where it was just
Right.
frustration was
Well,
taking over.
why? Why were you at a breaking point?
Well,
Like, you had clientele there.
Me personally, yeah, my
You
clientele
just
was
couldn't handle the
great.
disorganization.
Yeah, the environment around me.
It's just like the mental
Yeah.
health aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's like everybody was happy with what they had, but I was like, dude, we can achieve way better.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like putting 110% in, but everybody's like, yeah, we'll just ride his coattails. It's all good. He'll be our face. And that's what was happening. And I was like, dude, you guys got to match me. This is like, dude, I was frustrated. And I was like showing to clients like how frustrated I was. And I was like, I don't want them to know how frustrated I am.
Right.
I was like, a client comes into my chair to vent to me. I don't need to vent to them. Don't worry about me. I'm fine.
So you just you said that thing that's super interesting. You said the vent to me.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've kind of taken? We've talked about it. We've all talked about it. Is that like a normal thing that you like?
I am the cheapest therapist you'll get.
There you go. I'm not a barber. I'm a therapist.
Yeah.
The haircut's 10% of it. That's how I see it. The haircut's just a sprinkle on top. The rest of it is the conversation, the atmosphere, how you present yourself. I mean, I set it up to the point now where it's like, I want you to come in and forget about outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is our safe bubble.
Yeah, I've been trying to convince him to like let me put on like sleep goggles or something like
that'd
that.
be nice.
Just go lock out while I get a haircut, bro.
Just two cucumbers just right on.
I'd pay extra for that.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, man. But yeah, it just came down to that. And then how I found the barber lounge, I think one day, I don't know, I was just on Facebook Marketplace and there was this barber group. We have a closed group amongst all the barbers in Lincoln and Nebraska. And I just saw this post about this like private studio. Dominique had set it up. That's the owner of the barber lounge. And I was like, where the hell is this place at? Is this Omaha? And I had passed by this place every single day on Old Cheney. And I'd never been to this nice neighborhood. It's like that cookie cutter neighborhood. The Williamsburg
I do
neighborhood.
like the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I do like the whole lounge. It's very established. It's very like, all right, I'm not going to have like a high schooler coming in here, like
Making a bunch of
being
noise.
loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just getting whitewashed as Flip or something. I don't know. Like this like hooligan stuff really
To
gets
be
to
honest-
me these days.
To be
not you
honest,
anymore.
I'd never been in this neighborhood in my life. I'd never been to that Hy-Vee over there in Williamsburg. Because I was like, that Hy-Vee is probably expensive.
Probably
Tomato
upcharged.
like $17.
I said Northside Hy-Vee is cheaper.
yeah. But I was like, man, I didn't even know this place existed.
Yeah.
I think I've been to that gas station, the Super C,
Yeah.
once, and then the gas was too pricey.
Well, I remember talking to you when you were leaving Faded and going to the barber lounge, and you did allude, like, what is the word when I'm express? You did express some stress because I know that was a big jump for you because, like, I mean, now it's like a way bigger room. I'm assuming the cost of the chair was way higher there. Way higher, you know? So, like
almost double, 2.5.
yeah, so it was a lot more, you know? So, like, were you nervous when you made that jump? Because it's a huge.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of money I put into that room,
Yeah.
I'm still paying for it, so it's all good. Inflation. But yeah, I think I put in about 10 grand into that room.
Wow.
It doesn't, I mean, when I look at it, it doesn't show it. But You put a lot of money into something you're going to believe in, you're going to get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
And I think I put that money as a good investment, and I have gotten a lot out of it.
So you've grown there.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, I make way more than what I made at Faded. I think, I'm going to be honest, my numbers, I'm never lying to people. What I made at Faded on a good year is like 33,000.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my
See the
question is,
frustration,
is there going to be a ceiling at where you are now? And is there more in your future? Like, do you have aspirations to grow into owning a whole barbershop and like renting
like a
out
faded
seats?
type thing, but your style. Like the same way that your lounge is, the way your room is
Yeah.
right now, it's super chill in there.
Yeah.
It's always
Love it.
super chill.
Dom has done a great job there
Yeah.
too. And Dom, we do apologize. I know we had something set up. So this is our formal apology to you. You know, we stopped filming for a little while because we had to redo things, but yeah.
But
Man.
so do you ever think about that, like running your own thing? But it's at your standard.
Definitely, I probably have hit a cap just via scheduling
Right.
because it's all appointments.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I mean, I'm happy with the money I'm making. I'm happy altogether. You know, I finally set up the job I wanted.
Right.
Where I don't wake up like I don't want to go to work. That was a factory every day.
Yeah,
Like, I hate
yeah.
that place. I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that statement because it might get me in trouble. God took care of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, here it's just like I wake up and it's like let's go to work. I'm happy. Do I call it work? No.
Yeah.
It's just my kick it spot. People come to me and just hang out,
That's
and I
true.
just give them a haircut. in
It's a
return.
very, very,
And
very
that's the
great
vibe I'm
environment
giving
there.
out, you know?
Yeah.
Because like, I just see everybody, like my clients, her clients, Max's clients over there. And it's just like, hey, what's up? I'm the doorman. I'm the Walmart guy, you know?
Yeah. Bro, yeah, it's so painful to walk in like the past like few times. Like I've figured out that like you're a cheater, you know, and you have other clients.
This guy.
I just will burst
Every
my
time
bubble.
he'll just walk in and he's like,
He said, why is there someone else sitting in that chair?
In my chair.
You cut other people's hair?
No.
every time I could just see the disappointment. I'm like, calm down.
You should just charge Ilya what you charge, what you get paid in a month, and then
That's
keep
crazy.
Keep him as an only.
He said, you know what? You're right. You
You're
just
right.
come in whenever you.
He did say that to me last time. He's like, yeah, no problem. But you're going to, what I make this
ticket.
year is what you're paying.
I was like, if you want the whole day to yourself, you're going to have to pay me out.
Private
for the day.
barber.
You're going to have to pay a celebrity price.
100%.
There you go.
That's an aspiration of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel I'm a little too humble for that to just get paid $300.
Well, do you think
a
like you could
haircut.
even do that in Lincoln? You think
Yeah,
there's even a
there-
market for
Dude,
that?
you told me Fred lives in Lincoln?
Fred?
Fred.
Can I say that?
What Fred?
Yeah.
I know. I went with his sister in high school.
Yeah, he lives in
Who's
Lincoln.
Fred? Why am I?
Fred, dude, like he was like that weird,
He doesn't,
goofy homie.
He doesn't live in Lincoln.
Nickelodeon?
He doesn't live in Lincoln.
He does live in Lincoln.
It doesn't. His family grew up in
His
Hastings.
barber is sitting in front of you.
Who grew up in Hastings.
Well,
Maybe
I'm not
maybe
going
now.
to say his whole info, but
Maybe he does live in Lincoln now, but I knew he lived in California.
he's a real cool dude. You know,
Wow.
real cool
He
dude.
still lives in Lincoln?
I think after a while you want
That's
to get away
nuts.
from that Hollywood. That's what my perspective.
You cut his hair?
Real
That's
cool
a
dude.
pretty
That's
cool.
kinda-
real chill dude. You know,
That's
I
pretty
didn't
dope.
want to like when I first met him. I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, I know you, fangirl as they call it. You know? And I was like, I'm just gonna treat this guy normal. And then the whole time I was like, hey, I recognize where I know you from. Like 4 cuts later, he was like, I thought you knew. I was like, I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I wasn't trying to make it awkward.
Yeah.
He was like, I thought you knew from day one. I was like, yeah, I knew. But I don't like being like weird about it, you know? Because I was like, yeah, you meet the Rock, But
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, I know this
Well, The
kid
Rock
from
ain't
my
gonna get a
childhood, you
haircut.
know? But
Yeah, of course.
he ain't getting a haircut.
That dude bald as a whistle.
Bald.
So your goals are kind of like to get into the celebrity cuts and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe. That's like a broad aspiration out there.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen? Probably not. I have to move to like a bigger city.
Yeah.
Like I got some buddies that are in Omaha. One of my friends, he's back in Omaha. He used to live in LA. He cut up, I don't know if you know football players like Sean Merriman. He works for the Charger or played for the Chargers back in the day. He cut him up and I was like, what the hell? I was a Chargers. I'm not anymore. I moved to LA. Sorry, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
But I was like, how the hell do you cut up the guy that I was watching when I was a kid?
Yeah, that's dope.
And I was like,
That's
"Man,
super
you're not
cool."
even Chargers, man. You're a Raiders fan. That's what I told him.
Yes.
But yeah, he cut up with so many people. And he was just like on his street called Melrose. I assume it's like a bougie
I don't
street.
know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, yeah, he just walked in one day. And I was like, he
That's dope.
walked into you? He was like, yeah. And I was like, that's so cool, you know? But it's things like that. You got to go to LA or some big place where you can just see a celebrity like a normal dude. But yeah, that'd be a nice aspiration. But I'm happy with what I'm doing. I think I'm providing. I mean, you guys hopefully are happy with
Very
Bro,
happy.
very happy. It's like
Very
you have this habit of showing the mirror, and I'm every single time. I know all three of us say, like, bro, put down the mirror. I don't even have to look.
Yeah.
You're doing that for you, not for me.
That's more of a OCD anxiety thing.
That's like-
it's like a routine. I have to do it.
To us, like, well, to me, the biggest thing that like in terms of that you provide is like that I never had to tell you what I want.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Just because it's like, okay, just make it look good.
I think unofficially, I might have a photographic memory.
I think you do because you're like, oh, do you want to
Skin
like this
fade?
again? Do you want
Yeah.
you want the part in there? I was like, man, how do you remember all this? Because
I
like
think
I
it's
don't
just
even know
more-
what I get.
I don't know. Is like remembering a memory, is that photographic memory at that point? Because that's how I remember things. Because I'm like, it's the scene, it's the scenario, and I can see the image.
That sounds like photographic.
Yeah, and that's like, oh, especially with haircuts. Man, that works.
Sounds like he's got the tism
It's
for
like
barber.
which picture do I?
Yeah, a little bit on the spectrum of like
See, but that's what I want.
Got what I want.
Tism.
Got what I want.
a little hair savant. You know?
So we have reached that hour plus mark, so we got to wrap up here. Ava, if you have any advice that you can give any up and coming barbers or people that are trying to get into the industry, what would it be?
Oh man, don't give up. Yeah, it sucks the first year, but if you give up, and I mean, don't give up. Basically, consistency. Show up every day, whether there's a client there or not. You never know when somebody's going to walk in and what that's going to lead to.
Yeah.
You get one person in, and don't like, oh, I'm not going to take you because I don't know your hair. Try it.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? You cut his hair off too short. They'll come back. Hair grows back. That's the biggest thing in this industry.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. But yeah, consistency, show up every time, and just give it all you got. And I swear, do not, like, everybody around you, don't be like them, you know? Try to do better.
Mm-hmm.
One step up, everybody. Don't show off, but, like, show you that you're, you know, doing a lot more work.
Yeah.
Hard work. Not a whole lot of that left nowadays. Work ethic has kind of gone down a drain. I can see it every day.
For sure.
But-
For sure.
People like me that are trying to push up the younger generation, but okay, you got to put in the hard work. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, I don't want to do hard work because nobody's going to pay me. But like,
Right.
yeah, if you're working for yourself, it's going to prove out. You know, in the end, it's going to really pay off. But yeah,
100%.
work hard, be consistent, and don't give up. And yeah, school sucks at barbering school, but hey,
Get through it.
you got to get through it. It's a
It's all worth
requirement.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're expecting definitely. I mean, hey, I think in the next couple of years, I would not be surprised if we found you with a couple chairs, or maybe even you still have your own spot, but
Yeah,
the place
I mean,
next door is yours or whatever.
That's going to come down to whatever happens in life, you know.
Right. That's true.
Where,
That's true.
you know, my aspirations get a little bigger, my vision gets a little more clear. But at this point, I think I'm kind of happy. I'm just trying to start a
Definitely.
family. My barbering's set. It's now I got to focus on the family growth. You know, having kids soon.
I think that's what a lot of barbers wish they could say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wish they can say, get to. But man, we're so happy to have you
Oh,
here.
yeah, absolutely.
Again,
Thank you,
always
guys.
check out AvaTheBarber. He's on Instagram. He's on everything, right?
AvaTheBarber. That's the handle. If you need a haircut, you know where I'm at.
Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Anyway, thank you so much for being on, man.
I appreciate you guys, man. This is awesome.
All right.